Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the States. This is Reverend Beverly and Reverend Kim. We are here with Rev Talk again. We are going to talk a little more in depth of angel communications and what it means to you, how you develop it, how you increase it, just all in general. How do we communicate with the higher source? Take it away, Kim.
Sure. Just throw that in my lap. Us. Okay. I don't know. For me, it's kind of a daily. And of course, if I'm outside and I'm talking to the angels, there are times when I don't realize that my neighbors are outside and they see me talking to myself. For me, it's a matter of a daily thing, like an all day having a communication with the angels. And I think also that, like, plants are angels. There's communications of different kinds. So you talk to your plants. I talk to the trees. There was a lot of communication issues happening for me over the past couple of days with work, where communication was not quite getting where it needed to be between me and the doctors and the boss and all of that. So it was interesting for me as to how my frustration level just really went up there. And I find myself talking more to my angels when that happens. Like, I need some calming, please, angels, help me out with this. So I think it doesn't have to be like a really big ordeal, like there are those people. And prayer is a big thing. Prayer is wonderful as far as communicating all the way around. My prayers tend to be short. Thank you for the day. Thank you. Thank you for my tea in the morning. Thank you. Little things like that kind of help me to stay plugged in, and in the present.
That's what you're saying right there. And you have to realize you can call on your angels at any time. And that is your basic 101 to bring yourself centered. You don't realize it because you're so frustrated, but it is centering you and you are getting what you need for that moment with what's irritating you. And the more you do it, the more you rely on it. And the more you rely on it, the more your love comes out, because you're loving yourself and honoring yourself to come through and ask for help from your higher self. And when I was studying just earlier today, which I have a spiritual practice every day too. I have gotten away from the card readings, but I do the tenets and everything. And then I have my conversations with all my individuals. And one of my favorite people is St. Francis. And that's just where you said plants, outdoors. And I go out every morning, take care of all my critters, and I talk to them. And I have an eagle now, and my quail are just starting to come back. They're not big enough that Mama will let them out yet. They're hidden, but I know they're there because I can hear them. And those are all the communications of nature, which makes the world go round. And I was just reading, because I read Doreen Virtue's Archangels and Angels, because I was trying to find something on angel communication. And I came across somebody, I can't remember who he was, but it was communications, but his communications were through light. And he was, what's the word I can't say, Melecchid. It's in the Bible.
Melchizedek.
Yes, that's what it was. And he does everything up here because he's above the planet, he's above the energies, and he gets all these vibrations and they're negative. So he sends out the light to neutralize it. and bring it back down to where it should be. And it was this whole transformation of just thought power, communication that was changing it here to keep our planet safe, which then takes you to Archangel Uriel, who is in charge of our planet, one of the four major ones. And it's just like, it's all clicking. And I went in and I was reading one, and another one I can't think of was the fairy angel. I want to say it was Mauve, but it may not have been. But it told you, because they said fairies and entities. And in those entities were leprechauns and all. And I'm thinking, oh, I talk to my fairies all the time. I got my grandkids and we go and find them all the time. And again, that brings back to nature. And that just brings you back to one that we were. But it was interesting to see all the different ways, different communications. There's no one set way. There's no card reading. There's no just looking at nature. It's just everything around you. And that's what we have to be aware of. Don't dismiss some song because you don't like it. There's something in that song that you need to hear and you don't want to hear it. So you don't like it. You may not like the bass. Well, maybe the bass you don't like, but the words are something in there that you need to listen to. And that's what's so great about communication. Not the internet communicating, outside communicating. And this is what I feel. I'm so afraid to say anything, that people are getting so peripheral because they want to get the word out. They want to get out. They're forgetting the hand, the touch, the feel, the senses.
Right.
That we as humans came down here for the physical. And that was one thing when I was studying. When you go to the spiritual level, you no longer, you're an energy body, for lack of a better word. You can't smell, you have no senses. So I think that's why I'm so intense here on earth, to just take all this communications and feeling and senses and just honor them and use them to communicate to the others. You need to see and do and touch these things. It's so important to communicate, because you're not only helping our physical, you're helping the animal planet. You're helping underneath the water. You're helping every vibrational level to raise. Sometimes I go on and on.
No, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'm like,
I get like, oh, okay, time to be quiet.
no, not at all. I'm like, you go, girl. That was awesome. That's awesome. And it reminds me of, and if anybody gets a chance to watch this movie, Fantastic, I think it's Fantastic Fungi.
Yes, I watched that because of you. Yes.
It was mind blowing for me as far as the mycelium, which is everywhere. And it communicates with everything. And I swear you have to watch, please, if you get a chance, watch it. It just, and you might not like it as much as I did, but I was just like transfixed watching this, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And of course, I always love the time lapse,
photography.
Mm-hmm. Everything is blooming and then it's like decaying and then it's blooming. It just, that, I don't know, for some reason I love seeing that. So
because we're seeing eons of time in a short frame, and right. you can grasp it. But what you were saying about the communications, when I was working with my tree guy, he was telling me this, and I went up and started reading it. They have, every pine tree sends feelers out, and one may be dying. The other one stopped taking nutrients to feed that one. And what do? We chop them down, because he's dying. We don't want him in our yard. He says, no. Nature will balance it out. When it's time, he will die. And
I agree with that to a point. And the tree
disease is an exception.
Yes, the tree that I had out front was diseased and it was causing damage. And that was like the most profound thing that because I had the worst time trying to decide to cut this tree down because I love this tree so much. And it bothered me. And of course, I finally made the decision, and the guys came, and it was, I remember this, it was the day before Superstorm Sandy showed up here.
Oh my gosh.
It was the day before. And honestly, that tree was huge. There was a hole in the center of the trunk that had gone all the way up. It was diseased. And after it was taken down, even though I saw that, I still felt bad. And I actually got a message from that tree thanking me because it did not want to do any more damage. It had done damage to my roof and to, my yard like twice because of high winds breaking these big, huge branches off. And it told me not to worry. It thanked me and said, it wasn't.
It communicated to you.
It did, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, well, I love trees anyway. So it's like, thank you so much. And obviously I felt much better about that. It just, we are such communicative beings, even with our thoughts. There's that Mike Dooley, his thing is thoughts become things. So if you're back to how powerful we are, our thoughts will create our reality. So, I've said before, I think if you don't like what's going on in your life, change it.
Change your thought.
Change your thoughts, change your story. Again, another form of communication.
That's exactly right. And you're communicating to the higher self without realizing it. We don't realize how powerful we are.
Yes, exactly. And how little of our actual essence and true self is here. Our higher self, huge.
Mm-hmm.
We, part of our higher self, but we are here to experience and, like you said, use our senses. And, there's just a little essence of us here and a huge essence, the rest of us on the other side, or wherever you want to put that, as our higher self. So yes, we are still connected, and we are still connected, and we are still connected, and we are still connected,
That's what I always do with my grandkids, is the tree.
Oh,
We bloom, we grow.
I like that.
And their roots go out. Mm-hmm.
So I think, again, when we're talking about, when you do like a blessing or a meditation, like a guided meditation, one of the first things that people do is ground yourself. And what they say is keep your feet on the ground and pretend you've got roots digging down into the earth. Well, as soon as you do that, you are attached to the earth. You're
grounded.
Grounded. You're also communicating with Mother Earth. And then, wherever the meditation takes you.
We used to do yoga walks with my yoga instructor, and the first thing and the last thing we would do is we'd find a tree and ground and hug the tree. And the first time I did it, oh, this is stupid. And my gosh, anytime I see a tree I love, I have to go up and hug it.
Well, I did that this afternoon. I went out to my cedar tree and I was like, oh, thank you so much. I was like, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. You become, it nourishes the body for release from all the stress. It really does. It's a lot cheaper than medication.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very much so.
A lot better for you.
A lot better for you too. So yeah. Oh, so I love this. Are we done communicating with?
I think we gave them a multitude of areas to start communicating with.
I think so too.
Simple.
I am so glad we did this. And that was a good idea, Beth. So thank you for that. You're awesome. So I guess we will end this for this week. And so thank you once again for joining us. And again, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and remember you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends.
Namaste.